Welcome to the first recorded episode of Popping Off, where I talk to people who are having their moment on Instagram so I can get under the surface of the platform and learn from the best. Today, I'm talking to Aubrey, whose account I've watched achieve what seems like literal overnight success. I came across Aubrey when a mutual friend DM'd me on Instagram and was literally like, you've got to check out this account. She's just gained a whole load of followers and her content is amazing. And you were sharing how you did it on stories as you went along. So I hit follow at like less than 5K, and now I'm not going to give any spoilers away, but you have just gone from zero to everything. What literally seems like overnight. So what the hell? How have you done this?
Now it's so wild. It feels like overnight. End of March, beginning of April, I had 800 followers, and today I have a little over 50,000. So it's been pretty fast. I feel like I've been a content creator for 2 months. It's been really fun and exciting. I do feel like I'm doing a little backpedaling on like trying to gain that know, like, and trust factor with my audience. But it's fun to make content when lots of eyes are on it.
Must be really rewarding having that feedback that you know people are liking it and that it's gaining the traction and it's hitting the algorithm in all the right ways. Have you had an account before, or is this your first go?
Oh yeah, I'm like an OG Instagrammer. I think I was like one of the first accounts back in like I don't know 14 years ago or something. Back when the filters were weird, and I've always kind of dabbled on posting random things, but never done anything seriously. Then back in November, then like end of October, I was like, you know what? I kind of feel like I have been sitting back watching all these people do their thing on social media and grow. And I was like, I feel like I can do that. So I was like, let's just give it a shot. And I literally so this was like November 1st. And I like Googled in my podcast app, like, how to be a content creator. And like all of these things came up of, like what I would do differently if I was starting a fresh account in 2025. And so I was like, great. And so I listened to like 4 of those, and pretty much they all said the same thing, that was like, post for 3 months just about like all of your hobbies, all of the things that you feel like you could talk for, you could talk forever about, and see which one like does well or which one your audience connects with. Yeah, so that's what I did. So I, took all aspects of my life. I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I was, doing some like kid stuff. I was doing some kid crafts. I was doing some cooking, some just I don't know, whatever kind of I felt like, and I would get like 10 followers a month or 20 followers a month, and it's pretty fun. I have notes on the Notes app that I've been keeping a record of growth. So I did that for 3 months. And then I've been a vegetarian for a long time. And I was just posting, meals that I was making, and put up a post about beans because I cook a lot of beans. I cook beans every day. And, when you do something every day, you kind of just feel like everyone does it every day. And I didn't really think anything about it. And my usual views were like, 1 to 2,000 views. And this one got like 10,000. So that was when I was like, okay, there's definitely a market for it. Let's go beans. So that's when I started really honing in on that niche.
Scrolling through your account, there's definitely a moment where it just goes from you getting 1 to 2,000
Right.
views, and then right up to 5,000, 10,000. Did you find that your followers came sort of gradually, or has it been through a number of successful reels?
So I was kind of like, okay, obviously I know the market's there because this one small reel from my small account, I got maybe 100 followers from that. And so that kind of lit a fire to how do I find the other people that would be interested in beans and the, nutritional aspects of this food group. And so I feel like a lot of growth happens when you tag other brands, or when you tag something's an account that's bigger than you that can repost it. And I didn't really feel like I had anything, it was just cooking, and it's mostly like from our local grocery store. And I was like, okay, I need to be my own PR agent. I need to like get my own momentum. So like, how do I do that? And so I started using I started using trial reels, and I tried a different I really looked into what's the secret sauce of Instagram, right? The algorithm is a computer, it's a robot. So what are the aspects of a reel that is the formula to go viral, right? 6 or 7 seconds. It's of me. It's a quick blurb of just like what my account can do for you. And it leans into one of the human psyches of either money or weight loss or living longer or, the pillars, and a trending audio, right? So I figured out a reel that I could post, and it's a trial reel. So it only goes to non-followers. And I started posting like the same one 3 times a day, or not 3 times a day, 3 a day, all at night before I went to bed. That's the one that went super viral. That's where that one came from. And so that was one of the first ones. And I was like, well, clearly this works. I woke up to like, I don't know, a little over 2,000 followers just like that first overnight. And so I was like, okay, this is working. Let's roll some momentum. And so I just started doing that, and it's worked.
Now you know that like that can happen. Are you good at posting and putting your phone down, or are you posting and you're like, oh, I wonder what's happening?
Yeah, no, absolutely. At first I was like, this is overwhelming. Like my phone is just going off constantly. And, it's that little, whatever that experiment was of, giving a small crumb, and you always go back to see if there's more crumbs. So I turn off all notifications for Instagram. So I like purposely will have to like go into the app to see if anything. And I did that pretty early on because I was like, I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm like feeling a paralysis of, I'm used to like 500 people seeing my stories, and now I'm 5,000 people are seeing my stories, and like, lots of comments and messages. And like I could sit for, an hour and just kind of scroll through everything and just like watch and look. And so, no, I definitely have to put parameters around it.
It definitely changes how you use Instagram. I mean, I use it as a research tool. I can't stop looking at like what's going on and how things are performing. Do you find that you get a lot of ideas from Instagram and the hooks that are trending, or are you trying to stay in your lane and stick to what you know?
No, I totally agree with you. I feel like I'm at a point where because I'm around my kids all the time, and I want every time I get on the app to be super purposeful and super intentional. And so when I get on, then I'm more so scrolling to see how people are putting reels together, what kind of cuts they're doing, what kind of angles they're doing. I don't look at cooking videos for recipe sake, if I'm getting on to be fed inspiration, then it's color palettes and interior, random things.
You're looking at what other niches are doing and taking that and bringing that into what you know about.
I love visual. I love like following different branding accounts and seeing fonts and textures and color palettes and stuff.
There are coaches on Instagram who say that you've got to mostly follow people in your niche so that you get on the right algorithm, but you're doing the opposite, which is looking everywhere else, and it's working.
I tried once because, I heard that too. And then I was like, okay, so I need to be looking at the people who are doing something similar and seeing, who follows them. And then I was like, whoa, this is so overwhelming. I don't want to take their hook because it's a great hook. I don't want to step on any toes here. So no, there's a couple social media people that I follow that give out hooks all the time. And so I like read through those. And if I find one that I think would do well with my account, then I like type it into a note on my phone. But I don't know. Sometimes I feel like those can be a little like gimmicky.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So you've mentioned that you were posting 3 times a day, mostly on trial reels, and you were doing it before bedtime. Do you have any other kind of superstitions where you have to post a certain cadence at a certain time?
I don't think so. I mean, I've tried different like font types. I've tried different. I mean, I feel like beans, my niche of beans can be so grandma / depression era / I don't know. It can like go in a kind of weird way. And so I try to keep my trending audio for the trial reels, at least the opposite of that. I feel like the ones that do the best are hip hop songs or like beats or just something to make it a little bit more cool.
Kind of, yeah, putting your own generational spin on it as well, taking ownership back of beans.
Yeah, making it cool beans.
That has to be your catchphrase, obviously. I found it really interesting looking at your account and this reel that really went viral. It connects with how people are thinking rather than giving actual recipes out. You're connecting with people on their values. Is that something you've
Right.
experimented with quite a lot?
Yeah, I mean, I need to do a better job of adding a variety of reels. I kind of get pigeonholed into I need to do recipes, I need to do recipes, but in reality, just the information and the nutritional powerhouses that beans are, like I could just do a whole account on that. So I need to, that's where like the hooks, I feel like I've been trying to think through more of a smooth way of putting the nutritional facts into a trending hook. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because that was so powerful. And you think you mentioned that you can live longer through eating more beans. And
Yeah,
obviously, as you said,
right,
there's nothing that's going to get people curious more than how you can live longer.
right, right.
Now you've got nearly 55,000 followers in the space of a few months, although I'm sure to you, you've been putting all the work in. So I'm sure it feels longer than that. I'm like, you've done it like this, and
Yeah, I
you're
feel
there
like
doing
that's
all the
kind of
work.
tricky. I feel like that's kind of tricky because like you obviously are in like in posting in the beginning, you're like anticipating like this is going to grow and this is going to do well. But like once something goes viral and you have a lot of eyes on your account, like you have to have the meat there to, showcase. And so you're kind of just like making content, for like your like little 700 followers. And it's a really sweet time. It's a time that you get to like experiment and you get to kind of like test out all of these different types of content. And yeah. And then all of a sudden you have like so many eyes on it. And it's like, okay, my testing needs to just be a little bit more thought out.
You feel like you've got to give them what they've come to follow for now.
Yeah, right. Which I also like, I'm trying not to be, obviously, I like love beans and will stay with beans, but I'm also trying to do more of who I am behind beans because people want to follow people, right? They don't want to follow a robot or just like an account. So I'm kind of trying to figure out how to walk that line of showcasing like myself and my family and like what we do on a daily basis while also the people who came for like bean recipes also get what they need.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I have a couple of clients who were just giving out advice and they've done quite well off it, but their reach was really stagnant because all they were doing was logging on each day and telling people how to do things and how to live their life. And actually, I found that introducing trending hooks to them skyrocketed their reach because the hooks are based on connecting person to person over shared values rather than just giving out information all the time. It's because you can't keep up with all this advice we're getting on Instagram, right? It's impossible. So
Yeah.
yeah,
No, that's a really good point too.
yeah, because obviously, that everyone says jumping on trending hooks isn't a strategy, which is totally correct, but it can teach you how to rethink your hooks and your content. They're kind of a practice more than a strategy.
Yeah, right. And there's so much research that's gone into them. The whole your first 3 seconds is the biggest part of your reel. And I think just making sure that it sounds like you. And that's something I'm working on of just really refining my message. And I feel like the trending hooks probably is where I could, because as I said, I feel like I'm backpedaling a little bit on the developing the like no trust factor of my audience. I've been through a growth period and now I need to sit in a nurture period of this audience. And so maybe, yeah, I need to do more research on my trending hooks.
So speaking of the next phase, have there been any like setbacks or moments of burnout or things that you found hard, like imposter syndrome? A lot of people, you've got to 55,000 followers. Are you already thinking, but I need to be at 100 to do this? Or
No, I'm not thinking like that. At first, I felt a little just like shell shocked and mobile. So it took me like a week after I got like 10,000 followers to actually like post something because I was like, what do I do with this? I'm not great at batch creating, which I know is like a huge thing that people say you have to do to avoid burnout. And I feel like I'm still in the like, this is really fun phase. So no, I haven't hit any burnout. And I mean, I have to cook dinner every night. So, like, my content's always there. It's just a matter of do I film it? When I was like trying to figure out my niche, I purposely chose things that were part of my everyday. So I wouldn't have to be doing anything extra. I don't have the time to do anything extra right now. And so I haven't hit any burnout. I think sometimes like I'm just mentally exhausted. And so the creative juices for doing your audio for your reel plus your caption plus a hook, then like sometimes some of that's a little bit overwhelming, but it all comes together. Your thoughts in the shower is like when it all comes together.
You have to be the strategy, you have to be the copywriter, you have to be the, videographer. It's a lot of conflicting roles.
Yeah, I have found, it's been so good just for my like mental health to do this though, because I feel like with, all of the pressures and all of the decisions you make as a mom, plus like everything that's happening in the world, like it all gets so overwhelming. So it's really nice to have like a little thing that I feel like I get to control and I get to think about when like my mind feels, like out of control, and a way for like creative juices to kind of flow. And I love like, setting things up and making I like creating it. I like creating.
You can tell it's something you're naturally in love with, and it's something that's so a part of you, and you seem like a very aesthetically driven person, and you kind of know yourself and your style, and I feel like that comes across so nicely in such a wholesome way. You feel like you know someone when you follow them on Instagram.
Yeah.
So it's really
I
it's
love
really
that. I
lovely
love
to
that
see.
part of Instagram. I love building a community, even if you never meet the people, talking back and forth with people. The whole friendships start with having the same struggle or the same like excitement and whatnot. And no, it doesn't substitute for actual friends, but it's fun to have that kind of social community anytime you want it.
It's true, especially you said that you a stay-at-home mum with your kids at home. So, and I work from home, and I feel like sometimes you're in your own little bubble, and it's really nice to have that external communication from people. Makes a big
Yeah.
difference.
Or connecting with people on the other side of the world, right?
Yeah, it's so nice. So you said you use your notes and write down your ideas in notes a lot. Do you have a favorite tool or favorite part of Instagram? I use the save feature all the time and the duplicate feature, and I feel like I'm the only one using them sometimes. What are your favorite
I
tools?
don't even know what the duplicate feature is.
When you save a draft, when you save drafts of your reels, then you can
Yeah.
duplicate them before you post them, because then I just change the hook without
Yeah.
having to make the whole
Oh,
thing
I didn't know.
again. There you go.
Yeah.
One thing I
That's
can teach
good.
you. It's
Take that one.
helpful because you can have like three of the same draft.
That
You can
is
just go on
helpful.
and tweak the hook.
Yeah. Right. Right. Huh. Okay. My explore feed is not really, I feel like, hitting the right points right now for me. It's a little off. So I haven't been on that. And I have like my favorite accounts, like Rudy Jude. I'm like such a cult Rudy Jude follower. I love Julie and all she does. So I usually like check out what she's been up to. And I usually just like, yeah, I'll do like a quick scroll and then something will catch my eye. And then that'll, lead me down a rabbit hole of, I don't know, some kind of the English cottage countryside, little houses or something. Um, yeah, I don't really, I don't really have like a normal routine when I open it. I usually always like check my comments first to see, or my messages to see if there's anything like pertinent I need to respond to immediately. And if not, then I save all of that for either nap time or after the kids go to bed. Um,
It must be really hard balancing sort of having the kids around with not being on your phone all the time. I find that
Yeah,
really
it
hard.
is. Yeah, I try to be mindful of it, but I know that I'm probably doing it too much. We're actually going to start homeschool in the fall, and so I know that I will like turn my phone off for the first like half of the day just to make sure I can be completely um, present with them and in that journey. But right now, yeah, I mean, my husband works from home, and so if he's on lunch or something, then I'll like pop on my phone or, yeah. I do a lot in the evenings. My kids go to bed pretty early, so that's usually when like the meat of what I do gets done. Or I'll
That's
do like
like
video
proper.
things throughout the day. I think that's the hardest. I think for me, it's more of like taking videos and photos all the time, which I feel like I would do anyways. And so, but I've like even with my 19-month-old, then I'll like take my phone out and she'll be like, cheese. And I'm like, okay, just want to make sure that's cute and not like I'm just doing that because I'm like documenting her, but
I think it's a natural reaction to getting a camera out. I
yeah.
think, but my 19-month-old, my 20-month-old does exactly the same thing. It's so cute.
It's so cute.
Oh, it's been so interesting speaking to you and hearing about your journey. Fascinating.
Yeah.
I hope that yeah, you carry on enjoying it. Do you have any plans to monetize and have things that people can pay to subscribe to?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that piece out. I mean, obviously that would be the goal. Yeah. I'm just not exactly sure which avenue I want to completely dive into. But again, I'll Google it on my podcast app and then listen to all the information out there. There's so much like good free information on podcasts and on YouTube, and yeah, you can learn a lot, and it's all free and to like learn.
So you do most of your learning kind of audibly.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. I'm always like Googling or searching on Instagram, but it can be really nice to get out of Instagram to do some of it.
Part of the whole like trying not to be on my phone as much around my kids, and since they are always around, then it's easier for me to listen and learn than to sit and scroll and learn.
Yeah. So you're not always looking down. And it's been so nice to talk to you.
Yeah.
I want to have another whole interview with you about how you get all three children into bed at the same time very early.
Oh my God. I like to go to bed early and I need time before I go to bed. So
Queen
we
of
go
the
to bed early, but
bedtimes,
we all
queen of
wake
the
up early.
bean. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing so openly as well. It's been so interesting to hear about
Yeah, of course.
how you've done
I'm an
it.
open book. I'm a
Oh.
cheerleader for everyone. There's plenty of the pie to go around. So everyone needs a piece and we can all learn from each other.